So I want to pivot from one professional type to the other professional type that you're involved in, the Pool Table NYC.
Yeah.
And these are, I mean, as far as I can tell, and you can talk more about it, but these seem very linked, because fashion and hip hop, like you said, is a culture, and clothing's very much a part of what we're doing with our project too. So it was really awesome to see that that's a component of what you're doing. Tell us like how it started,
All right. So in high school, I went to Leadership and Public Services High School downtown, right next to like where the Twin Towers used to be. And I was, like I mentioned, never really like the popular kid or whatever, but I was kind of in between. And like I would talk to people, but at the same time not. So I was very much introverted and extroverted, because I'm like very talkative and outgoing, but at the same time very reserved and kept to myself. So during like my, I think 11th grade, going on to like 12th grade and all that, I started to get picked on a little bit. I ain't saying no names, but you know who you are. I would get picked on because I would wear these one pair of skinny jeans that I had because that's all I had. And my mom, she worked a lot, and I mean, I don't know if like the idea of just buying me clothes never came up, or I guess it was more about like the necessity. We were just trying to get through the day, you know, like food, rent, and my brothers and stuff. So that was really like that was in the back burner, you know, like clothes, like, okay, you have a pant, like that's at least something. And that's just kind of how I lived my days. But you know, in high school, when you're kind of building self-esteem and then people are building their own self-esteem, I would get picked on a lot for that. And at one point, I just remember her mentioning, you know, my one pair of pants and my shoes or whatever. And I had enough. Like, I was just so tired of it. I was so tired of her picking on me and like people looking at me or whatever. And I'm like, bruh, I'm not ugly. Like, I'm just broke. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not ugly, and I'm not like, my style is fly. Trust me. I just don't have the money to afford it. So I kind of got myself into some trouble, not gonna lie. I've moved on from that. But the trouble was just that this one time I had an incident that I got caught stealing, and it was clothes. I was stealing clothes, which is silly, you know. I think of it now, and it's like, it wasn't that serious, you know. Had I been me now, talking to me then, I would have been like, hey, Mar, things are gonna get better. Chill. You know, like, there are other things in life that you can focus on rather than allowing this person to get into your head to this point. But at the same time, it wasn't even because of her, you know, like, it was just me too. Like, I also wanted to like dress different. Mind you, this is high school, you know. I wanted to explore my possibilities and my range and like, who am I? And clothes says so much about who you are and like what you're feeling and the colors you decide to wear and like what you put together and prints and patterns. So after I had gotten in trouble at that time, I didn't want to stop finding clothes. You know, I wanted to still like shop and keep my wardrobe going, and so that's when I started thrifting.
Cool.
I started thrifting at a thrift store out in the city because, you know, I was going to high school in the city. So I would just kind of walk around and travel all over, and I'd run into these little like mom and pop shops, different like chained thrift stores, and I would just go inside of them, and I would, you know, buy a couple pieces here and there. And I started to build my wardrobe. So it really just started through thrifting. But I was thrifting for a very long time. I was thrifting for like 3-4 years before I decided that like I could maybe do something with it. But that wasn't even really a thought in my head yet. I was just thrifting. And then I started to go to this other store when I was in college. And this is a whole story behind it. So there's a story behind the fact that I met his parents before knowing that they were his parents.
Your partner.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Brian,
And like, it was at a store.
What?
And like, they were basically giving me food, and like they were so nice to me.
Yeah.
And like they loved me.
Was it
Yeah.
their store?
No,
Oh,
it
they
was
were
just
just
a store.
customers
Yeah,
also?
it was just a store that we would run into. Hello there. There was just a store that we would run into each other, and because I would go so often, they started to bring me snacks here and there until one time, they pulled out their phone. The mom pulled out the phone and was like, "Hey, like this is my daughter." Oh, that's nice. This is my son. Oh, that's nice. And then she pulls out her phone again another time. And I'm like, oh, this is my other son. And come to find out it's Brian.
Yeah.
Wow.
Mind you, this is during one of those times that him and I had dated.
Okay.
Well, I dated him.
Yeah.
And so I didn't make much of it. I had one decision to make. Two decisions to make. Either tell her, oh shit, I know your son, or just keep it moving.
Yeah. What did you do?
I kept it moving.
Oh.
I just kept it moving, because again, I didn't have any want to like rekindle relationships with people, and that was just very much me at the time, just dead people that
Right.
felt like they were coming in between me and like my growth.
Yeah.
So I was just like, I don't got time for that. So eventually, it's so funny. He hits me up for an interview. So because he does photography.
Yeah.
And at the time he was doing like this video interview about like happiness, and I guess he thought that I would be a good candidate. And so he reached out, and it took me like a week to get back to him, just because I wasn't sure if I wanted to rekindle this friendship, because we were never like dating at the time. We were just friends, but we would kind of mess around here and there.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I don't know. So I took a week to answer, and I remember thinking about it very professionally. I was like, this could be a really good thing for Miss Mar.
Right.
Like, people will get to know Miss Mar a little bit more, and it'll be a great thing. So I got back to him, decided that, we'll do it. And after that, we became friends again officially.
Yeah.
And then we started thrifting together.
Yeah.
And come to find out that his parents would go to like certain markets and stuff like that all around the city.
Yeah.
And we started going to them too, like to visit, to look around. And I was already going to markets by myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Chelsea Market and just like a whole bunch of flea markets I'd
Yeah.
go to by myself, because
Yeah.
I'd be roaming around anyways. So then we started going together. And was it a summer or a winter? I think it was a summer that we decided like, hey, like maybe we should just like sell some stuff,
Yeah.
like I have a lot of stuff. Like at first it started off just some things that I had collected over the years.
Right.
And then some stuff that he had collected over the years. And after a while, the things that you have, they go. So then it's like, what do you have left?
Yeah.
And we liked it. We liked doing it. And, we were thrifting anyways, and we were finding stuff anyways. So like, why not pick it up and, sell them?
Yeah.
So we started going to the markets more frequently, but as sellers, we weren't much. Like, we weren't doing so well. I think about it now, and like, we weren't doing so well to start off with. Like, we weren't making a lot of money,
Yeah.
but we were making money that made us want to come back. And it was
Right.
just
Right.
fun to be there with him.
Yeah.
And I think he better say the same.
I'm sure he would.
We both had a really good time going, so we just kept going and going. And at one point, we started to do signs, because there were days that, we didn't have the best days. So we would have like a little dollar bin, and we would put things that we just felt like were there for too long, and, have people buy them at $1 so they could just go fast.
Yeah.
And we would make little signs on like neon signs and cardboard. And eventually we started to get better stuff, which meant that we would amp up our prices a little, but not a lot, just enough. And I remember this one customer coming up to us and be like, you guys have some really cool stuff. And I'm like, yeah, we do. Yeah, we do. We do have cool stuff. It's just a bunch of little epiphanies in my life that kind of lead to the things that are set in stone now. So I remember her saying that we have the coolest stuff, and I was like, yeah, like we do have cool stuff. And in the market that we were at, I say this very proudly, humbly, but proudly, I think we're always the coolest,
Yeah.
you know? And the thing is that we had our stuff on a table, you know, and every other vendor also had stuff on tables and racks and things like that. So just like, we're the coolest table in here.
Is that how you got the name?
We're the coolest space here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I made a little sign on a neon paper, pink neon paper, that says, "We are the cool table."
Oh.
And the cool part, both of the O's had little eyes like this, and then little eyelashes fluttering. And then under the two O's, I had a little smiley face.
Cute.
And then table. And, you know, people just started to kind of recognize that, you know, like, oh, look, they're the cool table. And they would take pictures of it and they would laugh, haha. And then they would come to our table and actually look through stuff and be like, oh, you guys do have pretty cool stuff.
Yeah.
So we just kind of kept that sign there. You know, it was just it wasn't a crazy sign. It was just, you know, handwritten, Sharpie marker. And we just kind of left it there each time we would go to the market. And as we started to get more merch and people started to recognize us a little bit more, we decided that, like, maybe we should create a logo, you know, of some sort that'll recognize us. And that's what came about with the little logo that we have. I don't know if you guys
I've
see
seen
it.
it, and it's
two folks
it
at the
reminds.
table.
I mean, when you're saying you had all these drawn signs,
Yeah.
I mean, I guess that was the idea too. Like keep it.
Just as like us as possible,
Yeah.
you know, and that was part of it. So we drew it out of stick figures and we just scanned it onto the computer.
Yeah.
And that was that. You know, he has a little blue hat, which he says looks like a beret, but I tried to make it look like a
Looks
cat.
hat.
Yeah, right, it does. To the side. Because he used to wear it to the side all the time in the summer. So we just did it like that. Blue, because it would just pop out. He would always wear his Yankee hat, too. And then, you know, me with my little brown hair. And that was that. So we created that as the logo. And that's kind of just been where it went from. I mean, we went from going to those markets to going to a little bit more upscale markets.
Yeah.
And started making a lot more like serious money.
Yeah.
And we decided that, like, okay, this is something we could take up a big notch and actually like make it what we do for a living.
Yeah.
And so that was more so last year,
Yeah.
where I think we took it serious to an extent where when quarantine happened, when quarantine happens, we decided that we needed a website.
Yeah.
Opened up a website that was pretty, I'd say relatively successful. I don't want to say and like toot my own horn and be like, yeah, it was very successful, because that'd be kind of a lie. You know, it was really hard.
Yeah.
To have that transition from in-person to website.
Yeah.
Because we were so used to doing markets.
Right.
You
Have you
know?
been able to do any markets since COVID?
So since COVID, we did. Right after we got out of quarantine, we did in the summer
Okay.
Yeah.
in Brooklyn. That was incredible. So good,
Yeah.
so lovely, and such a memorable experience. We made a really good amount of money. I mean, part of it is what helped me get my car.
Oh,
you know?
amazing.
So, you know, just being able to do that. We met a lot of great people. But it was short-lived
Yeah.
because of everything.
Yeah.
So.
Do you think post-COVID, which hopefully we're coming close to, do you think you'll mostly go back to doing in-person markets, and then you also have the website? Like, will you keep that running too?
We're gonna try to do both, right?
Yeah.
Website, I think, is just always gonna stay up.
Yeah.
For the people that, when they go to markets that aren't necessarily from New York, you know, because there's a lot of people that do go to these like really known markets just because they're New York markets, you know? And so a lot of people, these are people that we're never gonna see again. So if they want to keep shopping with us, you know, they at least have an alternative. The thing with the website is that it's not necessarily all of our inventory. I'd say it's like 1/4 of the inventory.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a very small fraction because we still want to keep it in person. So we
Right.
still want people to want to come see us in person, because I just feel like that's what keeps it authentic, and that's what keeps, I don't know, it's just that New York vibe, that grittiness, the true authentic market experience, thrifting, you know, like when I do something, I want to do it with purpose, right?
Yeah.
And so with the Cool Table, that is part of the purpose of the Cool Table. You know, it's that the slogan is, why fit in when you can stand out?
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that slogan in itself, here, I have the little, it helps me to talk with it because it's like a little prop.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Oh my gosh, yes, it's so cute.
So this is the little business card that we created. So that's another thing that helped us kind of bring things up a notch. Just having this, you know, just made it feel so official. Here, you can have it.
I feel like,
you.
that even just what you just did, that act of like giving someone your card,
Yes.
feels so nice. And when people, I mean, did you have, before you had the card, did you have people ask like, oh, do you have a card?
Yeah.
And then you have to say like, oh no, I don't, but like, I can write it on this receipt.
We didn't
like,
even have, well, that's the thing, right? We didn't even have like, you're welcome. We didn't even have an Instagram yet because we were just based in person and we wanted to keep it that way.
Right.
So for us, it was just kind of like, no, but come back next week,
Right.
you know, and we'll
Right.
be here. And we just tell people our names and they would remember us.
Right.
Yeah.
But as I was saying before, it's like everything that we do, or at least I try to do too, you know, like even in music, it's just keep it original and just kind of do something that feels special. So like, as I was telling you on the slogan here,
Yeah.
which is why fit in when you can stand out, it's kind of that play on just the ideal like school scenario where you have like the jocks and then the nerds and then the, you know, like the little weird mathematicians and then the fashion girls, you know, like why be all of that when you could chill at our table,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
or you could be all of that or you could be none of that and
Yeah.
still feel really good.
Yeah.
And it just kind of stemmed too from a place where like I was struggling a lot in like high school with just finding myself and my style and all the things that I wanted to represent physically and like the things that I wanted to exude to the people around me. And so through the Cool Table, I wanted to create something that when people came to us, they would feel good in, you know, and Bryant too, you know, when he's scouting out the stuff that, you know, we're looking for pieces that are gonna make people feel like, wow, this is dope. Like, this is so cool. Like, where'd you get this, bro? I got it from the Cool Table. Like, you know, like just something so original and authentic that speaks to so many different personalities that's really where the Cool Table stems from. We're just trying to get to people that just maybe don't necessarily have it. Mind you, we range from different price ranges. We can get fairly inexpensive to really expensive really quick.
Sure.
It just depends what you're looking for.
Yeah.
We mainly focus on t-shirts.
Yep.
So different graphic t-shirts, anywhere from like 70s until like now. You know, we'll have certain pieces that are like 2019, 2020. Those are usually the pieces that go for less.
Yeah.
But like the vintage pieces, those are the more expensive ones. But again, it just kind of fits into everyone's different range of what they're looking for.
Yeah.
That means that anybody can, it's like accessible to everyone and there's something for everyone.
Yeah.
Everybody can be cool.
Absolutely. And the great thing about it too is that like one thing I think that vintage has become is kind of just trendy, right? Like that's another thing that's just kind of trending now is just thrifting, which is a great thing in a way, like just to have vintage wardrobe because it's good for the environment. Economically, it's good for your pockets. But in terms of just like having access, because so many people are doing it, I think it also limits access to people who need it.
It's true.
Right.
Yeah.
And so when we're thinking about the prices that we are doing and the pieces that we're picking out, we're not just thinking trendy. We're thinking everyone, you know, like my mom, my dad, the aunts, the uncles, you know, the people that send clothes to their family in DR, stuff like that. So we often get customers too that are like 40, 50, you know, and like Hispanic moms or like Haitian moms, Haitian dads, you know, like all different kinds of people that we cater to. And it's like, sure, you could have a t-shirt too, you know,
Right.
or you can, I don't know, have some sort of like designer piece for yourself, treat yourself, but you're not paying as much, you know. And I think that they also appreciate it too, because, you know, we're young. I'm 24, he's 26, turns 27 in March. So, you know, we're usually always the youngest ones doing it in the market or in person or whatever. So that, I think, adds to the originality. Not on purpose, really, but it just happens to be.
I bet people are really excited to support these like two young entrepreneurs that are doing something really cool, and it's like benefiting them. They get the whole store, and it's like, I bet it's even cooler like when someone's like, where'd you get that shirt? And you're like, I got it from the Cool Table. These like two really cool young people got like it's
like the
whole
best
story is amazing.
It's the best feeling when we have a customer bring back their friends.
Yeah.
And then they're wearing the shirt that they bought.
Oh my gosh.
That is so
amazing.
good. It's so good.
Yeah.
But, you know, besides the online and the markets, we've also been doing another form of online, which is Instagram Lives.
Oh, okay.
So there's these things that are like virtual flea markets, and people go on live on Instagram on like pretty well-known vintage accounts, and they basically auction off certain pieces. These are usually more like high-end priced pieces, so like our 80s, 90s pieces that the average individual would be like, why are you paying this much for a t-shirt? But then
it's
the
like
person,
a collector thing or something.
Right. So that's another market that we're kind of feeding into, trying to find that niche within that subgenre of vintage, because I feel like there's different forms of vintage and different people that want to be catered to differently. You know, there's the vintage pinup, or there's the vintage street style.
Right.
So there's a market for everything, I'd say. So that's another thing we've been doing. We actually have a live on tomorrow. We have a live tomorrow. It's our second time. Yeah, it's our second time going live on Instagram. So that's something that we're trying to make a thing.
Yeah.
And maybe eventually branch out and do it on our own personal Instagram.
Yeah.
Right now, we're not doing it on our personal yet, because I think that we want to gain a little bit more momentum and, you know, just followers and stuff.
Yeah.
Make it worth it.
Right, make it worthwhile, and the time and the effort, because you still have to set up, you know, in the form that you would for like a market or whatever. But that's what we've been doing. The online market's kind of on hold, hoping to do one on April though. There will be more info once it's set in stone, but hopefully if things are a little bit more chill by then, we'll be back at it in April.
That's exciting.
Yeah, I recommend to anybody that's watching this, check out their website.
Yeah, we'll put a link
until the market comes out, because I mean, I think one of the great things about it is it's so well curated. Like, you know, if you're gonna go on, if you don't like the stuff, well, then that's not your taste. But if you do like it, there's going to be a lot that you like on that site.
Absolutely.
And I think that's good. So we're going to put it up. But what's the link, or what's the cooltable.m, or what is it?
So the website is www.thecooltablenyc.com.
Yeah.
The Instagram is thecooltablenyc. That is TheCooltableNYC. And that's the plug for the Cool Table.
Nice.
Amazing.
And let's plug the music too while we're here.
Yeah, let's do shameless plug.
No, they're not shameless if I'm asking.
That's true. So you can find my music on SoundCloud, which is Miss Mar Rises, and on YouTube, which is also Miss Mar Rises. That is MISSMARRISES. You can also find me on Spotify, Tidal, TikTok, whatever those cool kids are doing on TikTok. Also as Miss Mar Rises, same thing as mentioned before. My Instagram is trippin_on-Mars, which is TRIPPIN_ONMARZ. And I think that's everything right now, right? Regarding my music plug.
Yeah.
That's great. Well, everybody, Miss Mar is a true badass. It is like 12 degrees out, and she hasn't complained once.
it's a little nippy.
This is the best, the strongest. It took the strongest podcast guest to do this with us. So
Absolutely.
thank you so much. It was so much fun.
Yeah, this has been really great.
It has been.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching this segment. If you enjoyed it, please hit the like button so that the algorithms that run our lives can continue to spread the joy that is this podcast.
Yeah, hit that little like button to spread the joy through the algorithms.